Yes, folks, welcome back to the channel. It is a starting 11 prediction for the Boxing Day game against Motherwell at Celtic Park. First of all, I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. You'll probably be watching it Christmas Day and early Boxing Day, so I just want to say a Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you so much for all the support throughout the year. As always, I hope you all enjoy the day with your families. We come into this game off the back of that 0-0 draw at Tannadice on Sunday, where I thought we were really poor. A lot of changes to the team, a lot of players missing, but I think that was hardly an excuse for the level of performance. I think we just let the game drift by, and there was no real urgency until the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes, and that's probably where you get a bit of chaos and you get a bit of speed in the game, and you manage to create some things. We did have a couple of half chances through the game. Haven't seen them back. There's not many clear cut chances. The best one is for Kyogo. We need to lays him in, and he actually doesn't manage to get a shot off. I don't know what happens. He totally loses his footing and doesn't even manage to get a shot away. So really poor in front of goal. Really poor in the final third. Having said that, I think the context of this calendar year is that we've lost two games, one to Borussia Dortmund and one to Hearts when we had those that red card decision, the penalty decision as well. We lost 2-0 at Tynecastle that day. That's the only domestic defeat of this calendar year. And then the other one is obviously that game against Dortmund. So we've had a brilliant start to the season. We've won all our league games so far except for the two draws against Aberdeen and that one on Sunday. So we're fine. We're sitting pretty. We're 9 points clear. But I don't think there's any doubt that the team have dipped recently. I think we're off the back of 3 draws in a row now between Zagreb, the cup final, and then Tannadice. So I think in all three of those games, you could tell that we just weren't quite at our best, particularly going forward. I think we weren't troubled so much defensively on Sunday. Same in the Zagreb game, really. We weren't troubled too much defensively at all. It's just going forward, we're really lacking that incision, that sort of thrust in our play, that cutting edge. We're really lacking that in the last few weeks. So we've got these two home games now, one against Motherwell, one against St Johnstone at the weekend on Sunday, and those two games should give us a good platform to try and get back to a better rhythm. Hopefully get a few goals on the board over both games and sort of build the confidence back up before we go to Ibrox. That's something I said even before the Dundee United game, that we had these 3 games to sort of find a better rhythm to get into that game at Ibrox. We didn't really get it on Sunday, so hopefully a stronger team for the game against Motherwell and a better performance to give us a platform to build into next week. Motherwell are having a decent season by their standards. They're currently sitting 4th in the table on 26 points. They've had 1 draw, 2 wins and 2 defeats in their last 5 games, so a mixed bag of results. But for us at home, it's all about raising the level of performance, getting more speed and more cutting edge in their attacking play in what is our first Boxing Day game since 2010 at home. That's remarkable. I could not believe that when I read it. So looking forward to having a home Boxing Day league game, and hopefully we can get a good 3 points. So let's take a look then at how we think Celtic might line up for this one. In goals, it's going to be Kasper Schmeichel, of course. Again, basically nothing for him to do at Tannadice. Dundee United offered little in terms of the attacking threat. They were sitting really deep in the game. Only a couple of crosses that he came and collected, and there was that wee shaky moment at the end, but I think the Dundee United attackers were offside. The back four was much changed the other day. I think Ralston obviously came in for the injured Johnston. We didn't know that Carter Vickers and Trusty weren't going to be in the squad at all. So we had Welsh and out of nowhere and Scales as the centre backs and Taylor at left back. So I'm hoping that Johnson is going to be fit to start at right back on Boxing Day. I think he's a massive player for us. I think losing Kuhn and him on the right hand side really hampered us in terms of attacking play down that side. They've created a great partnership together, and Johnson, I think, has created the most chances in the league so far this season, so that tells you what he's offering us going forward. And to lose a player like Kuhn as well, I think that really just took something away from our attacking play. So hopefully, manager said before Dundee United that he would miss the week. If he missed the weekend, he'd be back for the following game, so let's hope he is. I'm going Carter Vickers and Trusty to come back in as well. I don't know if they were affected by that virus that Brendan Rodgers said was going through the team last week. Hopefully they're back and hopefully they can start this game. I'm going Taylor at left back because I've went via the last 2 or 3 games and I've got it wrong every single time. So I'm going to say that it'll stick with Taylor. I would like to see more of Valle. Having said that, I think Taylor probably one of the better performers on Sunday because there wasn't a lot of standout players going forward at Tannadice. Midfield, this is a big conundrum for us because right now I see this debate coming up about, even though we've got a lot of players in there, we don't know what our best combination is in midfield. There was a spell in the season just after Engels came in where it looked like McGregor, Hatate, Engels, and then Engels had his dip in form, and you thought Bernardo was the man to come in. And then maybe for a couple of games that looked good, and then Hatate's had a dip in form. McCowan's came in and done well. I think he started the game well on Sunday, as I said, but fell away and just sort of lost a bit of, I don't know if it was motivation or concentration, but he was giving the ball away. He was struggling to control it at times. It was difficult conditions, but I think he did dip in the game. So there is that question mark just now about what is the best three for Brendan Rodgers to go with. I'm going McGregor, obviously, captain of the team. I'm going to say Engels is going to come back in. And I think Bernardo, who was on the bench on Sunday, will come back in to start as well. That means Hatate will drop to the bench. McCowan will drop to the bench based on that performance at Dundee United as well. I do think there's a lot of chop and changing to be done in midfield. I think building up to this game at Ibrox, I suppose the manager would want to have his first choice three at top speed for going into that game. But right now, I agree that it's not really clear who's the best three and who's in form just now in terms of those midfield options that we have. So I'm just going McGregor, Bernardo, and Engels to come back in. I think he's looked bright enough off the bench. I think in Zagreb, again, we were poor going forward, but he added something to the game. Going forward, he added something to the cup final, but I know he looked really shaky on the ball, and he had a good chance towards the end at Tannadice as well. So if nothing else, and for all his faults, I think Engels has added something going forward when he's come off the bench in these last few games. So I think he might come back in for a start. Front three, I hope Nicholas Kuhn's back. Again, I'm making this video before I've heard Brendan Rodgers confirm who's fit and who's not. But he's a huge player for us. And again, like I said, with that right-hand side, neither him or Johnson playing on Sunday at Tannadice, it really hurt us. I don't think we had anything like the usual threat we had coming down the right-hand side. Yang came in to start. Really disappointing. Yang gets the ball and he looks tidy enough on it, but when he gets into key areas, his decision making and his composure is really, really poor. That's the thing that's going to hold him back. That's the thing that means he's not cutting it as a Celtic player. And until that changes, he's never going to cut it as a Celtic player, because you've got to, as a wide player in those dangerous areas, you've got to make it count. You've got to be finding someone for assists, scoring goals yourself. And every time he gets in those key decisive areas, he lets you down, Yang. Left-hand side, Maeda, he was one who did start at the weekend. I thought he had a poor day all round again in those wide areas when he's trying to get a yard and get past the fullback. He was either not able to get a cross in, or he ran out of the pitch a couple of times. Really disappointing output again, so we need better from him. And through the middle, I'm going with Adam Ida. Again, off the bench, him and Kyogo played together briefly. I suppose the last 10, 15 minutes of that game on Sunday, I thought Ida, he added something again, because he's a different presence to Kyogo. He had that shot just wide after he came on. He actually had a great chance from a corner kick where he was unmarked and he tried to volley it first time from the dropping ball for the corner, and it was just a near shot, but that was a good opportunity. He could actually maybe time to try and control it as well. I'm just going with him to come in and replace Kyogo. A lot of talk about Kyogo's form recently. No doubt he's nowhere near his top level. He's been poor. I think the chances that he had in the game, particularly the big one, which again doesn't even transpire. I don't even know what transpires into a shot on target. I heard seen a lot of people online talking about the XG in the game. I don't even know if that counts towards XG, because I don't even know if he got a shot away. It was really disappointing. In one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he fluffed his lines. I see this report yesterday linking him with a move to Atalanta in the US. Ronnie Dyler's just took over there. They're linked with a £10 million move. I think some of the criticism is way over the top. I think a lot of people forget Kyogo's goal scoring record, which is basically 1 and 2 since he arrived at the club. His goals in big games, his number of goals against Rangers, his number of goals in cup finals as well. He scored in the Champions League for us. I think a lot of people are quick to forget that, but I accept that he's not in form just now. And Adam Ida is not particularly at his highest level either. So we do have some doubts in that forward line. That's maybe something that's contributing to the poor output in the last few games going forward. But I think this is an opportunity for Ida, who has a good record against Motherwell. And it's a chance for him to maybe stake a claim to start again at the weekend against St Johnstone, and then get in the manager's mind for that big game at Ibrox. But I think it's right that Ida should come in and start this game, and hopefully give Kyogo a bit of fresh impetus if he is to be put on the bench, to come back and prove people wrong, and prove to the manager that he should be keeping that place up front. So there you go. That's a lineup I think Brendan Rodgers will go with tomorrow. Let us know your own thoughts in the comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And as I said, enjoy your day. Have a brilliant Christmas, and we'll see you tomorrow for full-time reaction after Motherwell. Cheers.